Today I'm testing the new Chefmaker Combifryer by DREO. The Chefmaker has a 6-quart capacity, 1800 watts of power, and temperature range of 100 degrees to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Later in this video I'm going to test some of my favorite recipes. This DREO Chefmaker air fryer is in the final stages of the Kickstarter. You can sign up and pre-order using the DREO Kickstarter link and save up to 45% as a launch day special offer. I placed the link below the video in the description section, so go ahead and check that out. This Chefmaker Combifryer is pretty easy to use. To achieve stress-free meal cooking perfection, they created what they like to call CombiCook technology. It's an algorithm which balances temperature, moisture, and time. The probe tracks the temperature in the center and the outer layers of the meat simultaneously. It's kind of sharp looking. The black and silver exterior looks really nice. On the top of the unit, you can see that it has a water tank with a little fill line and a little nozzle at the bottom, kind of like a mist in there. Every once in a while, you'll hear a little mist spray in there. And that's basically to keep everything kind of moist as it cooks, especially on long-term cooking, if you're cooking things for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour. This unit only comes with a couple of accessories. It's got a grill rack, basically used for grilling and certain presets on the chef mode. Also comes with a cooking tray. A nice feature that this unit comes with is an internal probe to control temperature. And it's got this really nice control pad on the front side of it. When you plug it in, you can see it just lights right up. As you go through the menu, on the left side, you have power on-off switch, the interior light. The up and down arrows on the right side are for the time control, and the ones on the left are for temperature control. You also have a return function here on the top right-hand corner, and a stop and go or a pause button right underneath that. So it's pretty simple, as you can see. And from my initial impression, this is going to be one of the best small appliances released this year. So let's do some cooking and see how it works. So the first recipe I decided to make is the buffalo chicken wings. Of course, this is one of the easiest recipes to make. I used about a dozen or so chicken wings in the air fryer basket. That's about all I could fit. I did use the probe for this recipe because I wanted to try the chef mode. In chef mode, you can see the different types of things you can cook in it, like beef, pork, lamb, poultry, seafood, and vegetable. As you can see, it gives you a little picture of the chicken wings, an approximate time range of how long it's going to take to cook. And of course, it's going to depend on when it gets to that temperature. So I selected the chicken wings, and then I hit the play button on the right here, and it came up with a message here. So you basically want to lay all the food in a single layer if you can. That helps everything cook more evenly. And when I hit the play on that, another message came up, says, "Water is required. Please fill up the water tank." So I'm going to go ahead and fill the water tank up to the fill line and get it started. It says it's going to take about 25 minutes. I'll bring you back after that's done. So now that the wings are done, I did rotate them once in between just to make sure that they were crisping up on both sides. So you can take a look and see how nicely crisp they came. I did test the temperature with a thermometer, and it did read about 170 degrees. Here, the crispiness of the skin here, they look fantastic. They look really good. My buffalo sauce is just a little sriracha and some garlic and onion, a little olive oil, and I just gave it a little toss in the bowl just so I can plate them up. They do look fantastic. They came out really, really good, really juicy. You can see how juicy they came out as I slice into these chicken wings here, and they were delicious. So let's try another test. Now to make it a little bit tougher, I decided to cook a boneless leg of lamb. I decided to do the same thing, basically just seasoned the inside, a little olive oil, some green onions, salt, pepper, a little bit of basil. Just tied it up and let it marinate in some olive oil, Italian dressing, a little lemon juice, a little rice wine vinegar, onion powder, garlic powder, and some rosemary. After it was marinated, I placed the leg of lamb in the grill rack, and I placed the grill rack inside the air fryer basket. Poured all the juices over the top just so it stays nice and moist. Even threw the lemon in there for good measure. Then I placed the probe in, and you can see how the probe kind of snaps into the door. There's a little cutout notch on the grill basket side where the handle is. Just make sure you push that in, snaps in nice and tight. And I placed the probe about halfway in to the meat, kind of the thickest area of it. Turned it on, and of course I'm using chef mode again just to see how that works. And selected the lamb setting. Shows you how to put the probe in and also to add the water. Here's the tank with the water about halfway up. Press it down to make sure it's seated and put the cover on it. It's about an hour and 40 minutes to cook. When it's done, it came out beautiful, nice and roasted. I let it sit for about 10 minutes. So it came out perfectly cooked, and you can see the juices. It was delicious. The whole family enjoyed this leg of lamb, and I'm sure I'll be making this again. Now, I downloaded the app to my phone, and I'll show you here on the screen. I used it for the lamb when I was cooking the lamb, and it was actually pretty cool. You can actually see the first screen here. It shows you what unit you have. It'll connect as long as you connect it via the Wi-Fi connection, so you have to set that up through the WLAN setting. So you select it, tell it what you're going to use, what you're going to use it to cook, and it'll kind of guide you through it. The machine itself will tell you to use the probe and to fill it with water, and you can hit the start and the stop here. You can turn on the light. It'll also give you an approximate amount of time that it takes to cook whatever you're cooking. I'm cooking the lamb for today. You got the Discover side. There's also a section on their site through the app that you can check out recipes and things like that. Also Google Assistant and Alexa can also be used to control it. So overall, the app is relatively simple, pretty straightforward, easy to use. The last test, I'm going to be making some frozen drumsticks. Yeah, now it says in the manual not to use the chef mode and the probe for frozen, but we're going to test it out anyway. I'm going to put them in there with the chef mode on and see what happens. All right, so I'm going to get the chicken drumsticks here into the pan. Then we can take this probe and try to get it into the frozen part of the meat. Kids, don't try this at home. Let's push this in until it snaps, like that. Power on. Chef mode is on by default, and you can cycle through these by using this menu arrow here. So we're gonna select chef mode, then the play button here will also accept that. So now we can select what we're cooking. So we're going to stick with poultry, the pictures of what you're cooking in case you don't know what it is. Chicken drumsticks, here we go. It says water is required. Fill up the water tank. So I got the water tank here, filled up about halfway. Press that down until it stops. And we're going to put the cover on like that. And it says 32 minutes for it to come to temperature. Okay, it looks like it just switched to the second dot here. So it's now on browning. So I'm gonna just lower that camera so you can take a look on the browning. And I love having this window in the door that you can see what's going on without having to open it up. And every once in a while you hear a little spritz of moisture going in there while it was cooking, probably every 2 or 3 minutes or so. I'll let this cook for the remaining 13 minutes, and I'll bring you back when it gets to that third dot. So now in the last 2 minutes, it just switched over to resting. So the fan turned off, looks like the heat turned off too. So it's allowing the meat to just rest. And then I'm gonna test it with my trusty meat thermometer here. All right, so it looks like it's finished here. That's tells you here with the little green check mark. So I'm gonna try to get it as close to the probe as I can. Okay, looks like we're over the 165 limit. So looks like it cooked it pretty well. I mean, the skin is actually pretty crispy. You can hear that. Okay, so you can see the chicken. It's actually really juicy, really nice. You know, nice crust. Nice crispy skin, just the way I like it. It's still steaming hot. I want to thank DREO for sending me out the unit and for sponsoring this video. I did enjoy using it. I think it has a lot of good potential. It's got the chef mode, which I really enjoyed using. It made cooking some of the bigger meats that I put in there a little easier to manage. You put the probe in, it'll measure the time and temperature. The lamb and the chicken came out perfectly. I didn't have to worry about when it was done. So if you find one of these, go ahead and get it. I'll leave some links down below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.